Thanks so much for joining with us. Political unrest is shaking Israel as Prime Minister Netanyahu attempts to reform the judicial system. Tens of thousands of Israelis protested in Tel Aviv this weekend, demanding the Prime Minister be removed from power.
Israel's president says he's working to avert a constitutional crisis. Chris Mitchell reports from Jerusalem on the rising conflict.
The nearly 80,000 demonstrators warned that changes to the judicial system are a major threat.
The majority is one thing, I accept that, but the changes that are being proposed are going to the core of the way this country is managed and organized, and this we cannot allow.
At Sunday's cabinet meeting, Netanyahu pushed back against the demonstrators, which included members of the Israeli left, Antifa members, and people carrying Palestinian flags.
2 months ago, there was a huge demonstration in Israel, the mother of all demonstrations. Millions of people took to the streets to vote in the elections. One of the main issues they voted for is the reform in the judicial system.
The reforms are intended to give the Knesset and the government more control over the judiciary. One proposal would allow a simple Knesset majority the power to overturn a Supreme Court ruling, reducing the power of the Supreme Court, which critics believe has overstepped its bounds in recent years. Some even calling it the most activist court in the world. One suggested compromise would be that a special or supermajority in the Knesset could overturn a ruling of the Supreme Court. The battle over the judicial system puts large segments of Israel's society at odds. Only 42% of Israelis trust the Supreme Court, while the leader of the Tel Aviv demonstration called on Israeli President Isaac Herzog to declare Benjamin Netanyahu unfit for office. Herzog is trying to mediate between the two camps.
I am now focused on two critical roles that I believe I bear as president at this hour: averting a historical constitutional crisis and stopping the continued rift within our nation.
The battle is likely to intensify. The leader of the Tel Aviv demonstration said it was just the beginning of the counterattack, while the government will proceed with hearings to enact these reforms. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Well, it seems like the whole world is shaking, and whether it's Israel or Brazil or right here in the United States, and it all has to do with various arms of government exceeding their mandates and exceeding what is allowed. What's happening here is Benjamin Netanyahu was accused of corruption. Underlying that case is he gave a cabinet minister position to an owner of a news service, and supposedly he traded that position for favorable news coverage. Well, if that is corruption, then every ambassador ever appointed by any government or any cabinet officer or any minister in any government is somehow, it's linked to corruption. That's the deal. You support a prime minister, you support a president, and in that support, you get the victor gets the spoils. So this is a reaction to that, and the Supreme Court of Israel was part of it. They allowed these cases to go forward. We've seen this in the United States, the weaponization of the judicial process, and Tom DeLay is sort of the poster child. He got indicted out of Texas. It took the Fifth Circuit to overturn that. Right here in Virginia, we had a governor who was indicted and convicted, and then it took the Supreme Court to say, no, your standard is off. If this is the standard, then any political deal in the history of the United States is now suspect, and you can't go forward with a government. So it is the response, well, let's have the Knesset be able to overrule the Supreme Court. Is that the way forward? In the U.S., we've had just incredible battles for Supreme Court justices, all because the judiciary started legislating from the bench and changing things without the approval of the people. When unelected judges go past their boundaries, that's what the response is. People say, well, we have to do something. For Netanyahu, it's very personal. He's been under this bribery indictment for years. No resolution to it. It was all an attempt to get him out of the prime minister role, and now we're seeing an attempt again. I hope judges, I hope prosecutors take this seriously. I mean, we saw it under President Trump, the number of times the Democrats would look for a favorable jurisdiction. They would go after him on immigration policy, say it was skewed, and then get a federal district court judge to issue an injunction. Finally, it took the Supreme Court to say, no, you're all wrong. You can't do this. You can't hamper a sitting administration with these kinds of things. But will we see more of this? My prediction is yes, because the whole world seems to be polarized, and everything that can be shaken is being shaken. We, as Christians, have good news. We have a government that can never be shaken, and let's turn and ask for that government to intervene. In other news, former President Trump is calling out President Biden for his classified document scandal. Wendy Griffith has more on that story from the CBN Newsroom. Wendy?
Gordon, President Trump is, of course, embroiled in his own controversy over the handling of classified material. In August, the FBI raided his Mar-a-Lago resort to get some 100 documents back after months of negotiations failed. In an interview with CBN's David Brody, Trump said Biden's case is much more serious.
Obviously, it's a cover-up. It's a very sad situation. You know, he was coming to me. We have a much different situation. I was president. I have the right to declassify as president. As a vice president, as you know, can't do that. And we had, we have literally a fortress here. You could say it's an armed fortress. And Mar-a-Lago was built as the Southern White House. We were locked and we were ready, and we had Secret Service, and we also had our security, but we had Secret Service there at all times. So, it's a much different situation. Now I see that they have their classified documents sitting on the floor in a big pile in a garage someplace. And it's a big problem, I think, for them. I don't know. And it brings Obama into the picture, as you can imagine, because the documents are really Obama documents. It's from the Obama administration. And now I guess they're getting him involved. How come he allowed that to happen?
3 sets of classified documents, about 20 altogether, have been discovered at Biden's home and former office. House Republicans are pursuing investigations, calling for a list of visitors at Biden's home to be released. The White House says no such log exists. Well, churchgoers in Selma, Alabama are celebrating a miracle of survival after a tornado tore through the city last week. The twister destroyed the daycare at Cross Point Christian Church. The walls and ceiling collapsed into classrooms, but thankfully all 70 children and their teachers survived by taking cover inside bathrooms. Amazing. The church's pastor called their escape nothing but the grace of God. The tornado devastated much of the historic city of Selma, famous as a flashpoint for the civil rights movement. The city's churches are now giving out food and other supplies to the victims, helping others. Gordon, just a miracle.
It is a miracle, and thank God for it. He is our very present help in time of trouble. You can always reach out in prayer. Well, Donald wanted to start a new at-home business. He purchased equipment on credit totaling $25,000. The problem? Donald didn't tell his wife. And to make matters worse, this wasn't the first time.
Donald and Abby Gadsden use social media to help fellow millennials manage their marriage and family, faith, fitness, and finances. One thing they share a lot about is debt, because they've had to overcome it twice. The second time came as a surprise to Abby.
I saw a document that was saved, and it was a credit card statement. So I opened it up, and it was several $1,000s. It turns out that there was a total of $25,000 that my husband had accrued in debt that I didn't know about.
This means using the proper... Donald had recently left teaching to start a full-time voiceover business. Abby agreed to put her social work salary towards the bills, even though she wanted to be at home more with her daughter.
Her daughter's getting older, and so I don't want to be missing out on things with her because I'm working so much.
Donald ended up going into debt because he wanted to get the business off the ground as fast as possible.
My mindset was, okay, if I can just get everything that I need, then I'll be able to arrive in that place that'll make me feel like, okay, like I'm good now. It wasn't until much later that I really felt the gravity of the financial infidelity.
He'd always had the mentality that borrowing money to succeed was normal. In fact, when the couple married, they were $160,000 in the hole, and most of the debt was Donald's.
I mean, it's a part of living in our society, right? We have access to these financial instruments.
Initially, I was so discouraged because I felt like all that we had done, did he not learn anything from it? Did he not learn anything from paying off six figures, that how much hard work that takes? And I certainly was under the impression we were never going back.
I don't think on a soul level like that I really got it. It didn't click how significant it was, because there was still places in my life that I was unsatisfied.
Only after Donald's secret debt was exposed did he want to look at what kept driving him into debt.
For me, I began to see like, wow, there's something off. It really was a tool that the Lord used in my life to bring me back to him. And I began to pray and ask God to help me to see the error of my ways correctly. The root of that was, I do not want to fail. I'm afraid, and so I'm charging up and I'm over leveraging, like on credit, as opposed to being okay with the pain of having to move slower. It kind of gives you a perceived way of getting what you need now.
He also found that even though he and Abby had been tithing throughout their marriage, sometimes for him it was more an obligation than anything else, and putting God first in his finances wasn't always his priority.
There was a point where when Donald was paying off the last $4,000 of that $25,000, I asked him one day, I was like, are you tithing the money that you're getting? He's like, no, I'm just trying to put it all towards the debt.
I believe that if I held on to my tithe, that it would be what I needed to take care of what I had to take care of. But it's the exact opposite. God's like, hey, when you have enough faith and trust that everything that I give you is mine, whenever you let go of what's in your hands as a worship unto me, it actually blesses the rest of it.
Moving forward, Donald has been fully committed to trusting God with his money. The couple paid off their second round of debt and gave without reservations.
Going from the religiosity of it and where I stand now, where it's like it's a freely giving and there's a joy to it, it's a night and day difference. It has been an incredible, I would say, the key to business success.
Donald has since seen his income triple what he made as a teacher, and Abby has been able to leave her job to be a stay-at-home mom.
I can definitely say that by tithing and by giving of offerings, sometimes giving above and beyond, that there's clients and there's business opportunities that I'm like, okay, I didn't audition for that.
The Gadsons encourage others who want to be free from the cycle of debt to examine where God is in the midst of the equation and give.
There's nothing like touching your money that's going to help you know where your heart is at on something. We tithe because we recognize he gets the first, because he is the one who has kept us. He is the one who has sustained us.
It really is a way for you to experience the fullness of what it means to be a child of the King, a very generous King at that.
He is a very generous King, for God so loved the world that he gave. He gave his only begotten Son for you and me, that we could have eternal life. And he's asking us to take on that same image, to be like Jesus, to be willing to say, I'll give, I'll be generous, I'll go over and above. Here's a principle for you. It's from the book of Deuteronomy. Never think that it was your own strength and energy that made you wealthy. Always remember that it is the Lord your God who gives you the power to become rich. And he gives that to you when you show yourself that you're generous, that you're a willing and cheerful giver. Well, Lonnie had been working construction when he was suddenly laid off. Still, before long, he was able to land a high-paying tech job at a telecommunications giant, even though he had no experience or qualifications in the field. So how does this even happen? Well, that's the very question Lonnie asked himself.
Army veteran Lonnie Ernest needed to make a better living after serving in the military. So he left his family's small South Texas ranch and moved to Austin with his wife Tammy to land construction work.
It was difficult to leave the ranch because that's all I knew growing up as a child. It was heartbreaking to do that.
Construction welding didn't offer the stability he wanted either.
We had just finished a bridge over a major park in Austin, and foreman comes up and says, "You guys are all laid off." It seemed hopeless. When I read the Bible, there's these promises of prosperity and peace, and I wondered, why wasn't I seeing those benefits?
The couple survived with low rent, thrift buys, and food banks, while Lonnie looked for more work. After they paid their bills, Lonnie and Tammy sometimes gave at church if they had a little extra. A tithe took a back seat to other priorities.
Living paycheck to paycheck, it was very difficult. How are we going to just let that go?
One night, Lonnie rededicated his life to Christ.
I said, "Lord, I thought that I was always living for you up until this point, and I was convicted. So I said, I dedicate my life to you. I rededicate my life to you. I want that relationship with you. Show me how I can do that."
One way he did so was making the decision to consistently tithe.
It was a self-reflection that kind of made that bulb go off, that it's not the Lord that's holding back, it's me.
By then, he left construction and worked as a paid contractor installing IT cables for Motorola, a world leader in telecommunications. The director of IT approached Lonnie after he noticed comments Lonnie made in a company newsletter.
He says, "We really like your attitude, but why not have you as a part of our team all the time? We have a job opening for a computer technician. I think you would be good for that job, and I want you to apply for it."
Even though he didn't have experience in computers, Lonnie believed the interview was a God-sent opportunity for a new, high-paying career.
So to prepare myself for that interview, I bought a book called the Mac Bible. I read that book cover to cover probably 2 or 3 times before I even interviewed, because I wanted to be able to have the right answers.
When Motorola offered Lonnie the job, it doubled his salary.
I was just elated. It was a dream come true. I mean, from a young man growing up on a cattle ranch, I said, how does this even happen? Well, I don't have an IT background. Attributed it to us practicing what the Lord wanted us to do, which is tithe.
As Lonnie earned promotions and his salary regularly increased, they were also able to buy a family home.
And in my mind, it was like, okay, if I'm being blessed like this, then I can bless others even more.
He'd been a regular viewer of the 700 Club and now decided to become a CBN partner.
Giving to CBN is something we've been doing for many years. I just feel that media, just being able to get out there and on the television, through the internet, in media, to share the gospel, is just so important. And just looking at all the good that's being done, this is having a global impact. During Hurricane Ian, Operation Blessings there. The war in Ukraine, Operation Blessings there. The work that they do to improve the quality of life of these people they're impacting, that's wonderful, because that shows you the hands and feet of Jesus that are out there to help people.
By 2018, his income had grown by 150% since he began tithing. In August of 2022, he was recruited as a program manager, earning more money than ever. He says tithing and giving are not just a matter of obedience.
It's out of love. He gave his son for you. Why would you not want to give back in love to your Heavenly Father? So if you trust the Lord in that, giving that 10%, He's going to bless you in ways that you've never imagined.
I love this story for so many different reasons. I love that Lonnie said, I'm going to prepare for this interview. I'm going to read this book. I'm going to be able to answer any question they offer. I see the opportunity before me. I want to seize it. I want to get ready for it. But I also appreciate his humility to say, well, it wasn't God holding back. It was me. I wasn't putting the principles into practice. I wasn't doing what he asked me to do. I'm not looking at a stingy God. I'm looking at a very generous God, and I'm not using the principle. Here's the principle, and it's from Luke chapter 6. We call it the law of reciprocity. It's very simple. It's counterintuitive, but these are the words of Jesus. Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. Lonnie got that. He said, yes, it's not God's fault, it's mine. I haven't been giving. You need to put it into action. So often we think, well, I'll give when I have enough, or when God supplies in abundance, and all of these other misconceptions that aren't in the Bible. The Bible's quite clear. You put it into motion, that's when wonderful things will happen. I've got some wonderful news. We're in our January telethon, and people are responding, and they're responding with a large measure. From yesterday's program, we're hearing from Greenfield, Wisconsin, $6,500. From Richmond, Texas, another founder at $5,000. From Clearwater, Florida, $8,400. And from California, Chairman Circle Plus, $14,400. Now, all of that came in from yesterday's program. So today, we've got a new one, and we've got a challenge for you. Some existing CBN partners from Tennessee like giving to CBN so much, they want to challenge others to give. So they'll match your giving, dollar for dollar, $50,000. Let's pray. Lord, we ask for a blessing for the partners from Tennessee who made it possible to issue this challenge, and for those watching and making decisions right now. Just speak to them. Let them know when they give, it will be given back to them. For with the measure they use, it will be measured back to them. Lord, watch over your word to perform it. Be with them now. Encourage your people. In Jesus' name, amen and amen. $50,000 is the challenge. What are we asking you to do? Well, we're asking you to join the 700 Club. How much is that? Well, it's just $20 a month, 65 cents a day. Some of you can join at higher levels, and we have them for you. 700 Club Gold, $40 a month. 1,000 Club is $1,000 a year. That's $84 a month. We have 2,500 Club, which is $2,500 a year. Founders, $5,000 or more a year. Then Chairman Circle, $10,000 or more a year. At whatever level, call us right now and say, yes, I want to be a part of it. If you want to see the gospel preached around the world, join the 700 Club. A portion of every gift goes into the work of CBN International to do just that. Not exporting English language program. We're teaching local Christians how to preach the gospel on media, television, YouTube, all the wonderful latest technologies, and we're doing it showing stories of what Jesus is doing in their country, not what he's doing here, what he's doing where they live, and then we're inviting them to pray. The response is overwhelming. Millions of people hearing the gospel and responding to it. If you want to be a part of that, call us now, 1-800-700-7000. Terry?
Well, the Word of God changes things, changes us. So we've got a gift for you that I think is going to change you. When you join the 700 Club, we're going to send you the latest teaching from Gordon Robertson. With it, you'll discover the answers to 3 of life's biggest questions. This is called Divine Direction, God's blueprint for your future.
Hello, I'm Gordon Robertson. My latest teaching is about you and where you come from. More importantly, where are you going? In this teaching, you'll discover 3 of life's biggest questions. How you answer these very important questions can hold the keys to your future.
In Gordon Robertson's latest audio teaching, Divine Direction, you'll discover the keys to a fulfilling life, what it means to be a child of God, how to correct negative self-talk, plus a daily devotional to strengthen your faith, and so much more.
God has uniquely made you. You're the only one of you in all of human history. You are the only one to accomplish the mission that He has specifically crafted you to fulfill. I hope this teaching will encourage you to go for God's best.
Get Divine Direction when you become a CBN partner.
We want to bless you with this when you call and bless others by joining the 700 Club. Divine Direction, God's blueprint for your future, and also Daily Direction. This is the 21-day devotional that goes with it. I know it'll be a blessing to you. So will you call now? In fact, the reason to call now is also because every dollar you give will be matched dollar for dollar. So let us hear from you. Your giving will go twice as far. Gordon?
Well, $45,000 in consumer debt and school loans. That was keeping Romulo up at night. Today, he's debt-free, running his dream business, and his income is up by 200%. Here's how his finances totally turned around.
Romulo Minna grew up with a camera in his hand shooting extreme sports, and he was good at it. He broke into the video production industry as a videographer with a California news station. He gives God the credit for that opportunity.
He unlocked the door for me to serve him in this way. And when he closed that door, he opened a bigger door for me to walk through.
Romulo was confident that God would provide for him. The reason? He'd been practicing the principles of biblical giving he learned in church from his pastor.
He came into the book of Malachi. He says, come, give me your 10. God said, test me in this. And I was like, yeah, okay. And he's like, no, you don't understand, people. This is the only place in the Bible that God said to test them. The only place.
So Romulo started tithing. It was during this time that he met Cheryl, who was impressed with his commitment to giving.
When I really started dating Romulo, I guess, is when I was like, you know what, Lord, I'm gonna start giving my 10%. I just really started trusting the Lord, and his family just really had an impact on my life. And I saw the way that they went to church every Sunday, and I saw the way that his mom would write the check, and I was like, I'm gonna start doing that too.
Romulo and Cheryl married. The next 10 years were a series of well-paying full-time jobs, each with salaries larger than the previous one. Cheryl continued to teach school, and it helped. Still, the ups and downs of the video production industry gave only temporary job stability for Romulo, putting a financial strain on their growing family.
I remember one time we had no food in the refrigerator, and somebody said, I got you guys food. It's every time, and we never stopped tithing.
The Minna's desire was to one day be able to help others in need.
If somebody is having struggles with their finances, with food, whatever it is, the same way people have blessed me, I want to be able to bless them as well.
To reach that goal, they knew they needed to tackle their debt.
I was probably $40,000, $45,000 in like consumer debt and school debt. And it kept me up at night. It ate at my soul.
I grew up in a house full of debt. And before we got married, I told my husband, I was like, I have seen debt before, and I do not want to live in it.
Cheryl was sensitive to that hard reality because of what happened to her parents' home.
Our family lost the house. Like, I never want my family to experience that.
The Minnas buckled down on their spending. No coffee runs and no dining out, as they tore into their debt. In a year's time, God provided plenty of work, and they paid down all but $13,000 in school loans.
We just killed debt after debt after debt.
In 2020, Romulo's employer downsized, and he was let go. His reaction was consistent with what he believed.
I was like, all right, Lord, what's next? Because every time he showed up with something bigger and better. So why would I doubt now?
Because Romulo had banked his vacation hours and was given severance, his final paycheck paid off the remaining school loans. Being debt-free put the couple in the position to launch Clear 29, a multimedia production company.
Clear 29 is a visual content company. We provide visual content, and it's evolved from me being a teenager and holding a camera to now being able to produce and direct films, commercial productions, and the sorts.
He never had to make any calls. He never had to make any posts on social media. His phone just kept blowing up. And it's still going to this day.
I've been very fortunate to take a dream and a passion and make it my bread and butter.
Today, his Clear 29 clients have tripled, and the Minna's income is up by 200%. They believe it's all possible because they are in relationship with a God who keeps his word.
I've had to relinquish everything I have mentally, emotionally, and spiritually to accept, like, it's not mine, it's all the Lord's.
So when you tithe and you're like, okay, Lord, I am trusting you.
He still is faithful. I know where my blessings come from. I'd be a fool to deny it.
Here's a promise. It's from Psalm 37. Take delight in the Lord, and he will give you your heart's desires. Commit everything you do to the Lord. Trust him, and he will help you. They learn this wonderful secret that it's all God's in the first place, who gave you life, who gave you ability, who gave you all the gifts that you currently have. All you're doing is stewarding it. You're not taking it with you to eternity. So why not use it for the kingdom? Why not show that you have the same heart that God has? He gives, and He gives generously. When you take delight in that, then He gives you the desires of your heart. If you want to start a lifestyle of generous, cheerful giving, call us, 1-800-700-7000. This isn't some get-rich-quick scheme. It's certainly not some heavenly lottery. We're here to tell you the blessings come from continued obedience. When you're faithful, He will be faithful to you. If you want to start a life of doing that, call us. 1-800-700-7000. Say, yes, I want to join the 700 Club. Now, when you call, make sure you ask for Pledge Express. That's electronic monthly giving, the bank doing all the work, and we can send as our gift to you Power for Life monthly teaching CDs. So if you'd like those, ask for Pledge Express when you call, or go to cbn.com. When you give monthly on the internet, you automatically sign up for Pledge Express. Let's go over to Ashley.
Well, it's a new year, and we want 2023 to be your best year ever. And that's why we want you to have this new teaching and devotional from Gordon Robertson called Divine Direction. And as you listen to this, you'll discover God's will for your life and passion for the work God has called you to do. It will also help you figure out where you fit in God's plan to reach a broken world.
You are a divinely created human being. There is no one else in history like you, and God has a special plan for your life. Hello, this is Gordon Robertson. In my latest teaching, I examine 3 of life's biggest questions. Who are you? Where do you come from? Where are you going? How you answer these very important questions can hold the keys to your future.
Hear Gordon Robertson's newest audio teaching, Divine Direction, God's Blueprint for Your Future. Gordon will guide you through the great questions each of us must ask and answer to discover our unique and specific purpose in life.
As you unlock the answers to these 3 questions, you will see how God's plan can unfold for you.
Get Divine Direction, God's Blueprint for Your Future. Yours when you become a CBN partner.
Well, here it is, guys. This is Gordon's latest teaching. It's called Divine Direction, God's Blueprint for Your Future. When you become a 700 Club partner, when you say yes to helping people all around the world in truly tangible ways, being the hands and feet of Jesus Christ, not just around the world, but right here in America, we want to send you this. This is our way of saying thank you. Thank you so much for choosing to partner with us, for choosing to bless others as God continues to bless you. When you join the 700 Club at $20 a month, we're going to send you this copy. It's a free copy of Gordon's latest teaching, along with the 21-day devotional. When you join at 700 Club Gold, which is $40 a month, you're actually going to get 3 copies. Some of you might already be there, and we would encourage you to consider joining at a higher level, which is the 1,000 Club level. And we will, in return, give you 5 copies of Gordon's latest teaching, Divine Direction, and of course, along with the 21-day devotional. And I also want to mention, at whatever level you join at when you become a 700 Club partner, you also get a digital download of this teaching, so you can listen to it on the go wherever you're at, and we'll also send you the 21-day devotional. So again, if you want to help people all around the world become a 700 Club partner today, it's really simple. There are 3 ways you can help us. You can become a partner. You can call us at 1-800-700-7000. We've got our prayer center representatives answering your phone calls live in studio. You can also go to cbn.com, or you can do my personal favorite, text to give. All you have to do is text CBN to 71777. From there, you'll get a link and a text message. You click that link, and it sends you over to our giving page, where from there you can choose at what level you would like to join. So once again, just say yes to blessing people as God continues to bless you. It's really simple. Give us a call, 1-800-700-7000. Go to cbn.com or text CBN to 71777. Terry, over to you.
Sonar's mom nearly fainted when she first saw her. Sonar's dad was left speechless. That's because their baby girl was born with a cleft lip.
Baby Sonar was born with a cleft palate. Her family said they were heartbroken.
When I gave birth, I did not realize my baby had a cleft lip. until my sister showed me. I almost fainted.
Sonar's dad was overwhelmed with emotion too.
When I saw my daughter slip, I was speechless. My heart was broken. Some people said we should give her away, but I said no.
Baby Sonar lives with her parents, a brother, and 6-year-old sister Vate. They help their mom look after her.
When my sister cries, I carry her to the coconut tree where we play. Some kids saw her and called her names. I was angry, but I did not know what to do.
She chokes when she drinks milk. My parents don't have any money, so I don't know how we can fix it.
Then Operation Blessing arranged for baby Sonar and her parents to travel to the city. There, we paid for her to receive free surgery to repair her cleft lip.
Now I don't have to worry about my daughter's future. Now she can eat and drink without choking like before. She's gaining weight after the surgery.
I'm glad my sister had surgery. Thank you to the people who made my sister's lips look like mine. She is so pretty.
It's always so touching to me in these stories where we're able to come in and help the before and how it affects not just the mom and dad, but the whole family. I mean, you know, the brother and sister become great defenders of this little baby, and yet they can't stop what's happening. But you can, and you have, and we say thank you. 700 Club members, you're making this kind of a life-changing, radical difference in the lives of children with this kind of facial issue all around the world. We say thank you. That's just one of the things you do if you're a 700 Club member. We're asking you now to do that. If you've not joined before, today's a great day to join with the rest of us. Just call our toll-free number. It's 1-800-700-7000, and there's a friendly person on the other end of the line who's here today just to take your call. Just tell us what level you'd like to join at. General membership, $20 a month. 700 Club Gold gift is $40 a month, or you could go up to the 1000 Club, that's $84 a month, or become a 2500 Club member, $209 a month, or become a founder. That's $5,000 a year. It works out to $417 a month. Listen, you can do so much because right now when you call, every dollar you give is going to be matched dollar for dollar. So help us with this challenge. Help us make a difference. Join with us. When we all link together, we can do that. Gordon?
All right, we've got a $50,000 challenge. If we can get the red number up, we've got 24,000 to go, and we're going to take the red number. It's up, it's down, it's up. Okay, here we are, 2,500 from Trenton, Ohio. That takes us down to 22,000. 18 minutes, 22 seconds on the clock. Call us right now and say, yes, I'll be a part of it. Well, groceries or car repairs? That was the dilemma Jessica and Hunter were facing. As their money was running out, Hunter said they were living on a prayer. Here's how you gave this military family a hand up.
As an Army family, Hunter and Jessica are familiar with spending months apart. When duty calls, Hunter knows he leaves the household in Jessica's capable hands.
There would be days she'd call me and tell me what was going on, and then next thing I know, it's getting taken care of. Either she had a friend that she knew that could come help her out, or she was taking care of herself.
Jessica feels just as proud of Hunter.
He's a part of this whole big thing of keeping our country safe and other families safe and able to have the life that we have because of his job and his career and sacrifices.
The couple decided early on it was important for Jessica to stay home with their children. Living on one income, though, has been tough.
It's a struggle. It's a constant, we live paycheck to paycheck.
In the spring of 2022, Hunter's car broke down and needed several $100s in repairs they couldn't afford. Then, a few months later, the engine in Jessica's van died. Fixing it carried a $9,000 price tag.
There's times when we have $3 in our account and I don't even know how we're going to buy groceries, let alone buy a car.
Literally, I just give it up. I'm just like, you know what? The Lord's got it. So, I mean, at this point, I'm just living on a prayer.
For months, the couple prayed. Then in September, Dan and Charlotte with the military outreach Cadence International came to their home, first with a well-deserved thank you.
We are so grateful for what you both do for our country.
They also came with great news. CBN's Helping the Homefront was going to help.
And they have decided to come alongside you guys
and they're going to pay for all the repairs needed for your car to get it fully functioning.
I don't even know how to respond to that. That's a bigger blessing than we could have ever asked for or imagined. That's awesome.
I mean, it's amazing. Like, I can't put it into words.
Yeah, I don't even know how to begin to express our gratitude for that.
Not only that, helping the Homefront partners are prepared to take you today to Willie Harold Automotives to go look for a used, reliable vehicle to provide for you, completely paid for.
I don't even know what to say. Like, how do you respond?
All I can say is thank God.
It is God.
It's God. That's all it is. I don't even know how to process that. That's absolutely amazing.
The dealership put the couple in the perfect family vehicle, and within a few days, the repairs on Hunter's car were completed too.
I'm very grateful to CBN partners who have helped us. Like, this is a giant blessing to my family, and we would not have been able to do it on our own. Like, there's no way. I can't even put into words how grateful we are.
Helping the Home Front is one of the many ministries of CBN, and whether it's that which helps active duty military families, they often have more month than they do money. We want to be there with them to let them know we recognize their service and we want to help them in their time of need. Whether it's helping the Home Front, Orphans Promise, our special surgeries, all the water wells, the livelihood programs, the disaster relief, the hunger programs right here in America, all of it is made possible because you care enough to give. If that's you, give us a call, 1-800-700-7000. Say, yes, I want to be a part of it. We've got 13,000 left, 14 minutes on this $50,000 challenge. So call us right now, 1-800-700-7000. Let's go over to Ashley.
Well, how would you like to have more joy and peace in your life this year? The great news, it can happen, and here's how.
The latest audio teaching from Gordon Robertson, Divine Direction, God's Blueprint for Your Future.
I can get filled with the joy, the love, peace of the Holy Spirit because I'm made in His image. That's what God wants. That's what He intended from the beginning. I'm supposed to manifest Him in human form. These are wonderful, energizing words.
Divine Direction, God's Blueprint for Your Future. Available now.
Well, when you decide to become a 700 Club partner, we're going to send you this. This is our way of saying thank you so much for choosing to help people in need all around the world and also right here in America. When you join at the 700 Club level, which is $20 a month, we're going to send you this free copy, this audio teaching. It is amazing. It truly will help you go deeper in your faith with the Lord. And we'll also send you this 21-day devotional, Daily Direction, Seeking God's Guidance. It goes hand in hand with the audio teaching. So if you want this and you want to help people all around the world, become a 700 Club member today. It's really simple. All you have to do is give us a call, 1-800-700-7000. It's a completely free phone call. You can also go to cbn.com and join there. You can also do my personal favorite, as I always like to say, which is text to give. All you have to do is text CBN to 71777, and from there you'll get a link in a text message. You click that link, it's going to send you over to a giving page, where from there you can join at whatever level you feel God is telling you to join at. There are the levels right there. It's 700 Club, which is $20 a month. 700 Club Gold is $40 a month. And if you join at that level, we're actually going to give you 3 copies of the latest teaching and devotional. Some of you might be able to join at a higher level, which is the 1000 Club level. We're going to send you 5 copies of the audio teaching and devotional. As I always like to say, whatever level you join at, just be obedient to that. And also, whatever level you join at, we're going to send you a digital download of the audio teaching as well, so you can listen to it on the go. So if you want to help people all around the world, like you're seeing in these amazing, life-changing stories, give us a call, 1-800-700-7000. Gordon, over to you.
All right, partners from Virginia are adding 20,000 to this challenge, taking it to 70,000. Let's pray. Lord, we ask for a blessing from the partners from Virginia who added and increased this challenge. Bless them, increase them, Lord God. Give them the power to obtain wealth and be with them, comfort them in their time of need. For those watching right now, just be ever present with them. Let them know that you will never leave them, you will never forsake them. Be with them now. In Jesus' name. Amen and amen. 70,000 is the challenge. 28,000 is the red number. 11 minutes and 15 seconds, 14 seconds is the clock. Call us right now and say, yes, I'll be a part of it. 1-800-700-7000. Well, Melissa and Rick were $80,000 in the red. Rick was so desperate for cash, he'd go door to door asking neighbors if he could pick their weeds. Melissa wasn't worried about paying down their debt. She was more interested in paying it forward.
Meet Melissa Hinnant, the creator of Grace and Lace, a successful online clothing company that made history on Shark Tank.
We did $1 million overnight in sales, and no company in the history of the 5 years that Shark Tank had aired before we were on had ever done that volume in sales.
Melissa and her husband Rick have come a long way from when they met. Melissa was in real estate. Rick had been living on credit cards, trying to start a number of businesses, and was $80,000 in debt.
When he told me, I was shocked. My parents always just taught me to believe if you don't have money to pay for it, you don't buy it.
I ended up knocking on people's doors to ask them if there was anything that I could do. Could I mow their lawn? Could I pick their weeds? Pretty humbling.
Before long, Rick's landscaping business took off, and the newly married couple started working their way out of the red.
I was doing everything possible to annihilate that debt as quick as I could.
All the while, the Hinnants were tithing.
God says, test me. I love a challenge, and so if God says test me, I'm going to sign up.
Even during our hardest financial times, we still always gave. And I know that if God is going to bless us, we have to continue to be faithful with giving to Him.
Within 2 years, Rick had tripled his income by adding Christmas light installation to his business. He paid off the rest of his loan, and soon the couple was completely debt-free with a 6-figure income. Yet Rick didn't think that was enough.
I think I had bought into society saying, here's what you should have. Here's what will make you happy.
He saw where all of his friends were at, and I think it kind of was a little bit of a pride issue.
Melissa was convinced that money was mainly a tool to help the needy.
If money can make me have more of a difference, then that's great, but I didn't need it.
And there was this civil war inside. Yes, I wanted to give more money, but did I want to make more money so I could have more material things? I simply asked God, do I have money before you? And what I heard was, yes, you do. I asked God to forgive me instantly. I told God, whether I make a lot of money or not, I'm done striving. It became about, instead of what can I acquire, how can I help the kingdom? When I surrendered to God, my landscape company exploded.
Rick made $85,000 in 1 month hanging lights. Then Melissa's knitting hobby turned into a major source of income for the couple.
One day, I just had an idea that I wanted to knit and create a pair of socks that had lace on it. And everywhere I went, people would stop and ask me, like, your socks, they're so cute. They have lace on them. Where did you get them?
So Melissa started selling her lacy boot socks online. And soon, the couple landed on Shark Tank.
And we ended up with a $3 million year. It was like God saying, look, I can do things that will blow your mind like that. And now we've got goals of doing around 15 million this year. But I don't know that we would have seen the success that we have if we weren't giving, if we weren't tithing.
Today, Rick and Melissa have 3 children and choose to live way below their means so they can help the poor. They've already built 13 orphanages and a freedom house in India.
I'll never forget meeting a 14-year-old, and he looked at me in the face and said, Melissa, this is the first time I've ever slept on a mattress.
They like to give to other organizations too, including CBN.
What I loved about Operation Blessing is that we were really able to see the fruit of that gift.
Now I have the hunger to make more money so we truly can give to all of these places, because there's a lot of need out there.
For those who want true financial freedom, the Hinnants suggest living to give, not get.
I would challenge anyone out there to put God first, where you are giving, you are blessing, you are helping, and you're changing the world for the good.
You know, God isn't looking for people who are like, give me, give me, give me. Everyone has to start somewhere. It does not have to be big. It comes from the simple place of God, I want your will done in my life. You might be going through a hard financial time, but God still wants your purity of heart in giving.
I love this story, how God gave them wonderful ideas, gave them blessing and favor. That will happen to you if you just follow the same principle. The purpose of money, the purpose of these blessings is so that you can bless others and you can be a blessing in the world today. God loves a cheerful giver, and He will generously give you all you need, so you'll always have plenty for yourself and plenty left over to share with others. These are the principles I want so much for you to get, and when you get them, wonderful things will happen. If you want to start a life of doing this, give us a call and say, yes, I'll join the 700 Club. I want to help people around the world. I want to be a part of Operation Blessing. I want to help preach the gospel around the world. I want to be a part of CBN International. All made possible because you cared enough to give. So call us now, 1-800-700-7000. Terry?
Well, when Itsi was younger, her father was killed and her village was bombed. She had to flee for her life. Now she has a safe place to call home. Even better, she has hope for her future, and she is thankful that you helped make it happen.
When Fulani herdsmen attacked her village in Nigeria, Itsi ran for her life.
They were shooting in my village, and many people were killed. When we heard my father died, my mother and I cried. We felt so bad. They burned our village, so we had to move. I stopped going to school because without my father, we couldn't pay my school fees. My mom couldn't afford to take care of me.
Itsi's mother enrolled her at Christian Faith Ministries, a crisis care home and school supported in part by CBN's Orphans Promise. Many children here are day students who live nearby. Those in crisis care, like Itsi, are not only fed, clothed, and housed, they're also given medical care and counseling to help them deal with everything they've been through. Bridget is her guardian.
Once we got her physically healthy and in counseling, she could start her journey to healing from the loss and trauma of what happened. We teach children the Word of God here, and we teach them to care for one another as families do. We have seen a lot of spiritual growth and transformation in Itsi. We trust that what she receives here will help her become who God has called her to be.
I love our guardians because they take care of us and love us. After I came here, I gave my life to Jesus, and it was the best moment of my life. I can go to Him in prayer whenever I have a problem, and He gives me peace and joy.
When Itsi first came here, she cried often. Now she smiles all the time and carries joy wherever she goes. She dedicated herself to learning, and even though she had a lot to catch up on, she's doing very well in school.
I love going to school. It feels good to be here, learning and growing. I also love games and skipping and playing with my friends.
My heart is full of gratitude for the people who support Orphans Promise. If it weren't for your generosity, these children would not be here today. You give them a hope for the future.
Thank you so much for helping me.
Please know that the help you give through your giving gives holistic help, whole person help, including spiritual. We say thank you. Gordon?
Well, at one village in Mexico, it's the job of Eleanor and her sisters to fetch water. That means an hour-long trip, both ways, to a dirty river. It also means the girls don't have enough time in their day to go to school.
For generations, Maria and now her children have been forced to carry buckets of water more than 1 hour each way from a polluted river.
The water was the color of coffee. It was cloudy and smelled nasty, but we had no other water to drink.
Maria's daughter Elena told us what she saw in the water.
The water got black when the cows tramped in it. The water smelled like cow dung. Drinking it made me sick.
And because it's always been the girls' job to carry water, they often missed school. Then Operation Blessing came to the community and set up the rainwater harvesting system. When it rains, water is collected from the roof into gutters. It then travels to this tank where it's treated with chlorine. This water is used for drinking, cooking, and washing dishes.
The girl said, "Mom, look at how much water we have. Before we could only carry a little. Now we have so much water, and it's so clean."
The rainy season lasts 10 months here, so there is water almost all year long. When it's drier, families have been taught by Operation Blessing how to conserve and make the water last.
Clean water means good health for all of us.
Now, I don't miss school because I have to collect water. I want to tell everyone from Operation Blessing, thank you for this clean water. May God bless you.
And that God bless you goes to you if you're a member of the 700 Club. If you're not a member, call us, 1-800-700-7000. We have a challenge, and we're going way over the top here from Louisville, Kentucky, $2,700. A founder coming in from Bayside, New York, $5,000. What do you have?
Got Largo, Florida, $2,640.
Yeah.
And from Greenwood, South Carolina, another founder, $5,000. So
we're counting down to victory. 6 seconds left. You can still be a part of it. All you have to do is pick up the phone and call us. 1-800-700-7000. Well, we had a challenge, and if we can get that up, there you go. Against it, you gave 89,000. Here's a word for the Lord, Psalm 34. Taste and see that the Lord is good. How blessed is the man who takes refuge in him. Put your faith into action. Have that experience. Taste and see that the Lord is good. God bless you. We'll see you tomorrow.